was in a real dark room. So if I understand correctly, we've got both of you here as the second-year students who obviously didn't finish it up the first time, so making a go with it now. Give us some thoughts of that, what we have, and I guess really believe what we have at this particular meeting.
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
It seems to me that it's just, a lot of people from the Colorado Medical Society getting together and trying to...
Yeah, because it's their organization, and that's one of the things that you'll learn. One thing, the last thing about what we have tonight, I guess, really is that has that been part of the decision?
What has been part of the decision?
I don't know, I wasn't there. See, I've been in here all night.
Oh, part of the decision of the Colorado Medical Society?
Hello?
See, I just didn't understand the question, I guess.
Yeah, no problem. Rochelle, and I can call you Rochelle. Feel free to call me Dr. Payne. Let me ask you this. When I hear emergency, of course, I, like most people, think, timeliness and all of what we have, and I guess really with those features. Being in emergency as such as you are, do y'all ever, I'm sure that y'all do, because everything there is on a timed basis. I mean, it's just critical, because that's where, I think the word even comes from. But I was just wondering, I wasn't, but I know some people who did. And they asked me if what we have, and I guess really as an usher. And I said when I get out to Colorado, I wanted to ask, has it? Because I'm just a consultant, which is somebody who's never done anything for the first time. What would you say? Because when you probably link what we have, then I guess really has that to a notion inside of that. Also, because that in itself is very, I said critical before, and I mean it, because emergency is just that.
Yeah, we are the critical edge. We are the front lines to the hospital. We admit most of the people to the hospital. We see the uninsured patients, and so we see the people that need us who are working on healthcare and healthcare costs. I'm sorry, there was no question in there, so I don't know.
I said you're specific. I can tell. I can just tell. You need a subject and a verb and a predicate and all that stuff. Whole package.
But I don't even know what you're asking about.
What you're asking about. That's good. That's good. But the last thing that I wanted to say is, I think I did earlier, but Mitch, and I like, what we come to a society like this, and you're past president, I understand.
Correct.
Yeah. Have you found that over the years that they ended up being the positive, like they do what we've seen so far? Because I think it's so important.
You mean what the society, how the society is viewed?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, without organized medicine, we'd be sick. We'd have more significant problems in health.
Absolutely, it's more than I can even think about. It really is. It's just like, yeah. The other thing that I wanted to wind down with, because I'm just about out of tape, is to look at the conundrum and what we have, and I guess really with society, with medicine, I should say, society will take care of itself in the long run, I think. But we need to be sure that what we have, and I guess too, and that was just one. I don't know.
Well, where we're at right now is the issue with the cost of healthcare in America, and what our
there's something. It's right there.
Yeah, and if we can't help fix that problem within our society, within the physician organized medicine, we are going to end up being on the outside. If we can be players in that process, actual players in helping solve the cost conundrum, then that'll help give us more influence within the system. If we ignore that problem, we're going to have less influence, and we'll see more and more influence by government and by outside entities. But if we're part of the solution, if physicians can organize and be part of the solution on this cost issue, we're going to be much better off.
I think all I asked was how you feeling, but I think that's good. I'm glad that we got that out there, because that in itself, as they say, it's just that, right?
Right.
As you can see, we're talking to Brianna and Warren. I want to ask both of them to consider that what we have, and I guess really adds that to a notion as they're young medical students themselves, and find out what to take back that what we have, and I guess really with this meeting, and what we have, and I guess really with others. In your thoughts.
I'm going to let Warren answer this one.
Okay, Warren.
I've really gotten the sense that the Colorado Medical Society cares about medical students deeply.
I was going to say that about with that care. That is so true, I think, right?
Yeah, they invest a lot of time, effort, and financial support as well for the things that we do. And it seems like they treat a lot of their members that way.
Brianna, Warren, both of you, model what we have, and I guess really adds that to a notion of seeing the development. Most doctors that I've spoken to and that have been in the industry role, what we have, and I guess really profession too, it's like what we have in that. Any thoughts on that at all? And then the other thing that I was going to say is that it seemed like that was what we have in that Warren. So y'all even on that, one on each. We're talking with Kim. Kim, let me start out with what we have, and I guess really here in Vail this year for the Society's meeting. Give us some overall candid thoughts that you have said, what we have, and I guess that apply, and also limited what we have with the society at large.
Thank you, Dr. Payne. I'm glad to take that over. I can tell you that the most important thing doctors have to do right now is talk to each other. And more importantly, they need to pursue the principle of evidence-based policy, not faith-based policy, because the world is not what they wish it was or what they believe it to be, or what the hard science says, and there's plenty of information out there to shop that. Carleton Neck Society has a long history of picking the righteous fight, and ideas having consequences, and that's why every year, as membership declines and attendance declines in other states at this same meeting, they show up and do the work. In fact, they show up because they like seeing their colleagues. It's a safe place for them. It is a community. And as a consequence of that, they end up making good policy. But they do more than just that. They follow it through, and those policies become laws. They become the laws that govern how managed care companies take care of doctors and their contracts, how doctors have rights in terms of how they're profiled, or the things that they've been done to pursue all the way we are now in terms of the governor's health initiatives on access to care and coverage issues and all that preceded that. They were thinking Medicaid managed care in terms of physician-centric exam level relevancy long before anybody else was. They were talking about what eventually became the federal law in terms of coverage and care coordination 3 or 4 years before anybody else was thinking about it. This is a state where the political culture tries to fix problems and not blame. I hope they're not doing anything really bad back there. As a consequence of all of those sort of ideas, you have momentum. Nobody else has momentum like you guys do. You are by far one of the best run, best organized physician advocacy organizations in the country, and I'm very grateful to have an ancillary role in that, primarily to keep you from going off the rails.
I think everybody out there would agree with me when I say, what? I mean, that was a lot. I felt like if we went on any longer, I was going to have to shave. But that was good. It was long, real long, but it was good. So just know that. Security! Really, but what we have, and I guess really adds that to the notion. I don't know if that clarified that or not for you, but Jim Mickelson, recently, what we have, because it looks like I'm going to be brought on board as Director of Communication. I'll be in Washington, I'll be in Benton, what we have, and I guess really as a notion. Any thoughts?
Well, if we can figure out how to communicate better about where we're going, I think
then we'll all get there probably a lot closer and quicker.
I think people just don't really understand. There's a lot of rhetoric around this issue right now. Obamacare has obviously gotten a lot of angst around.
Whatever hold it, but that's what I've been working with now. I mean, I haven't, but again, I know several people who have. They're no longer with us, but I mean, they did.
So I would say that the political, how this became so political is really a totally different issue, I think, than what
it's a total
ground, right?
The ground on that whole thing, like pants on the ground, it's like on the whole thing.
Right.
And all like that, what we have then, I guess, too. I mean, that pretty much wraps it up, right?
I think it totally wraps it up.
So let me ask what we have, and I guess really wind down by asking you this. In this economy that we all are existing in now, what, if any, and if not, how much? I'm going to repeat that. What, if any, and if not, how much?
A lot.
Now, in all honesty, can you say you understood hardly anything I've been saying? Because I am Mr. Double Talk. How do you feel now, Doc?
I'm taken. You guys got me, and I was wondering what the heck was going on, and I was trying to do my best to understand.
Well, honestly, it's making about as much sense as DC's approach to the Affordable Care Act right now. Seems like nobody really understands what's happening.
We have it. Of course, I have to ask you this. Now that you know who I really am and what I just got through doing, what were you thinking a while ago when I'm standing there making absolutely no sense whatsoever?
I'm just glad it wasn't a stroke activation.
So let me go to what we have, and I guess really wind down by asking both of y'all this, and that is, would y'all agree or would you disagree that it looks like the dynamic, what we have, and I guess throughout the rest of the entire society.
No.
Yes.
And I want to leave y'all with one quote. This is the only serious thing I will say tonight. My favorite doctor is Dr. Seuss. I think of all the brilliant things that he said, this is my favorite. You wouldn't probably know, but if you don't, memorize it because it's so true on so many levels. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. God bless y'all so much.